Okay, so just like I have said, lahat ng lectures natin are recorded and yung attendance natin for each of the session is based on the uh, attendance question na ipopost ko sa Google Classroom. So kahit na hindi kayo maka 100% na maka-attend throughout the duration of the lectures, as long as makaka-answer kayo and ma-watch nyo yung recorded videos, then pwede kayo makahabol. So last time we have already discussed about the discrete probability distributions, no? So we have the binomial, multinomial, Poisson's, and hypergeometric. Now we will continue to the another kind of probability distributions, which is what we call a continuous. So also I have stressed out last discussion that when we say discrete probability distributions, this is the probability distributions that concerns with the countable na quantities. So those quantities that can be counted, while the continuous probability distributions are the probability distributions that are measured. So, ibig sabihin, those quantity na pwede natin i-measure such as the height, the weight, or any quantity or parameter that can be expressed as a fraction, as a decimal. So, lahat yun is nasa continuous probability distributions. So I'm gonna move forward lang doon sa discussion natin sa continuous probability distributions. Um, when the random variable of interest can take any value in an interval, it is called continuous random variable. So what what's inside a continuous probability distribution is a continuous random variable. So any value in an interval, for example, you have an interval of 0 to 1, whatever inside 0 to 1 no, is a continuous random variable. Pwede tayong 0.01, 0.1, 0.5, 0.65, and so on and so forth. So it's a continuous random variable. It has an infinite an uncountable number of possible values. No? So that's a continuous random variable. Consequently, continuous random variable differs from discrete random variable. So these are the properties of a probability density function. So, 'di ba meron tayo nakapag define na tayo ng probability functions such as f of x, no? So we define function f of x as a probability density function for a continuous random variable x. So for example, we have a continuous random variables. Hindi pareha ka the last time sa discrete random variables natin na we just assign any value for the random variable x. No, pero tayong x is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, or the occurrence of having heads. So in a two dice, so either x is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, and or x is equal to 2. Pwedeng hanggang dalawa yung heads natin kasi dalawang coin pala. Pwedeng dalawang yung heads natin sa dalawang coins natin. Here, yung probability natin or the continuous random variable natin dito sa continuous probability distribution is infinite. Sobrang dami natin, no? So it takes the decimal points whatever inside the interval. So ito yung properties natin, no, that whatever the probability function f of x or probability density function f of x must be greater than or equal to 0. Always natin yan sinasabi na basta probability must be greater than or equal to 0, no? And the summation of the area f of x dx is equal to 1. So if this is your f of x and you have your dx, no, that the whole area under the curve here must be equal to 1. No? So kung sa discrete probability distribution natin, discrete probability distribution natin, we have a tabular. Dito kung sa continuous, we have a graphical. In a way na magkakaroon tayo ng curve. Yun yung tatandaan natin, ha. Dapat magkakaroon tayo ng curve doon sa continuous. So, for example, the probability of the continuous variable x, such as that x must be greater than or equal to a, less than or equal to b, is equal to the summation, it's equal to the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. Ibig sabihin, we get the area under the curve of a to B. No, the area under the curve of f of x evaluated to A to B. So yung area natin dito, yun si probability of x greater than A, greater than or equal to A, less than or equal to B. So the mean here, automatically, ang mean lang natin is x, whatever the random variable x, times the probability f of x. No? The probability function f of x, dx evaluated from negative infinity to positive infinity. And yung variance natin, same pa rin sa last time, that's x minus the mu squared times the function, the probability function dx. So, ang pinakaunang continuous probability distribution natin is what we call the continuous uniform. Uniform. Ibig sabihin, throughout the value of x natin or throughout the random values of random variable natin, constant lang. Uniform lang yung f of x natin. So, for example, here, the f of x, no, the probability function x from A to B, no, where the random variable is greater than or equal to A, less than or equal to B, no, ang probability function niyan is 1 over B minus A. 1 man all over B minus A. So parang kung tinitingnan lang natin siya, parang ganito lang siya. You have a f of x, your f of x is 1 over B minus A. So that's 1 over B minus A. And the area inside here must be 1. Inside the curve must be 1. So uniform siya, hindi siya magkakaroon ng curve na something like a bell-shaped curve or magkakaroon ng any curve like skewed to the right, no? Pag continuous uniform distribution lang tayo, rectangle lang yung meron tayo na curve. Okay, so ito yung mga properties ng continuous uniform distribution. Yung mu natin is a plus b all over 2. So a plus b all over 2. Or the variance natin, that's b minus a squared all over 12. Okay, so that's the continuous uniform. Next is the normal distribution. So this is another type of the continuous probability distribution, what we call the normal distribution. So normal distribution, dito mostly iikot yung discussion natin na it's because it's the most common of the distribution. Normal distribution, the most often used continuous probability distribution, no? And it is also called the Gaussian distribution. So, pag nakarinig kayo ng Gaussian distribution, automatically it's the normal distribution. So, its graph called the normal curve and is a bell-shaped curve. So, ang tawag sa curve ng normal distribution is a normal curve or ang tawag sa graph pala niya. Such a curve approximately describes many phenomena occur in nature, in industry, and in research. For example, there is the physical measurement in areas such as meteorological experiments, rainfall studies, and measurement of manufacturing parts are often more than adequately explained with normal distributions. So, mas na-explain natin siya into normal distributions. So what's inside the normal distribution or the continuous normal distribution is what we call a continuous random variable x. So yung continuous random variable x natin have a bell-shaped distribution, no, na tinatawag nating normal random variable. So a continuous random variable has an infinite number of possible values that can be represented by the interval on the number line. So automatically it is represented by interval kasi nga hindi natin na automatically pick kung ano yung random variable natin. Hindi pareha sa discrete na, okay, we have a random variable of 0, we have random variable of 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So very discrete. Pagdating sa continuous, it's an interval. Hindi mo kasi mapipinpoint talaga kung ano yung random variable mo. What you can do is just an interval. For example, the hours spent studying in a day, no? So the time spent studying can any number between 0 to 24. Pwedeng 3 hours, 3.1 hours, 3.5 hours. Pwede tayong magkaroon ng number of time studying na 15 hours. Or kayo, ilang oras ba kayo nagsa-study in a day? For example, 6 hours a day kayo. But may ibang student na nag-aaral ng 6.5, 6.51, 6.52, and so on and so forth. So there is an infinite random variable na pwedeng mag-cache siya doon. So that's why continuous ang tawag sa kanya. The probability distribution of a continuous random variable is what we call the continuous probability distribution. Okay, so what's inside a continuous probability distribution is a continuous random variable. The most important probability distribution in statistics, again, sinabi ko na to kanina, ito yung pinaka-common, pinaka-importante, and pinaka-often used, no, is the normal distribution. Napaka-rare lang talaga ni uniform distribution, no? Pinaka kwan lang siguro, yung uniform distribution natin is usually nagagamit siya sa discrete. For example, the normal distribution natin sa tossing one coin, no? So the normal distribution of, for example, the random variable x of a head is one half, no? So lahat, for example, if you have multiple coins, one half lang din talaga yung head mo. Okay, so uniform sila. Okay, sa normal distributions natin, no, the normal distribution is a continuous probability distribution for a random variable x. So you have a random variable here x, and the graph of the normal distribution is called the normal curve. So ito yung normal curve natin. So instead of tabular, normal curve ang meron tayo ngayon this time. Okay? So these are the properties of the normal distribution. Number one, the mean, median, and mode are equal. No? Yun yung unang property natin. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaisa si mean, median, and mode. No? Number two, the normal curve is bell-shaped and symmetric above the mean. So nakikita naman natin dito, no, it's what's in bit sa gitna, no, point of symmetry natin or line of symmetry natin, andun si mean, median, and mode. And then you have a symmetrical, which is a bell curve. Number three, the total area under the curve must be always equal to 1. Ganun naman si probability natin, no? Si probability natin, always equal to 1. Paano natin malaman na meron tayong probability, um, paano natin malalaman na meron tayong probability distribution? If each of the probability function of every random variable, no, pag inad mo lahat yung probability function nila, must be equal to 1. Ganun sa discrete natin. Di ba parang nag-try din tayo mag-add na, okay, this distribution is a probability distribution because the summation of all the f of x is equal to 1. So, ganun din dito sa normal distribution. Dapat, lahat ng summation ng f of x of each of the continuous random variable must be equal to 1. And if i-represent natin yan siya sa curve, that is the area under the curve. And that area of under the curve must be equal to 1. Next, the normal curve approaches but never touches x-axis as it extends farther and farther from the mean. So meron kang asymptotic doon sa both ends ng curve mo. No? It never touches the x, but it extends farther and farther away from the mean. So the mean is automatically the line of symmetry natin. The median is also can be found in the mean and the mode. No? Okay, equal silang lahat. Okay, so between the mu minus the standard deviation and the mean plus the standard deviation. So in the center of the curve, no, the graph curves downward and the graph curves upward left of mu minus the sigma and to the right of mu plus the sigma. So the points at which the curves changes from curving upward to curving downward are called the inflection point. So ano yung sinasabi nito? If you can look here, no, this is the mu, no, which is the mean, and the mean is the mode, and is where you can find the mode and the median, no. So whatever the yung itsura ng normal curve natin is that between mu and mu plus the sigma, this is mu plus sigma, between dyan, no, we have a curve that will look like this. No? But to the left here, no, it will look like going down. This is going up, this is going down. No? Basahin natin ulit. between mu minus sigma, no, and mu plus sigma, or somewhere in the center of the curve, the graph curves downward. So automatically it, it curves downward, no. Sorry. So ito na ako. I'm gonna add na lang muna dito. So discrete, today is continuous. Continuous probability. So, okay. So sa normal curve natin, sinabi na okay, the mean, median and mode are equal. So ibig sabihin, dapat andito si mean, median and mode mo. Sorry, hindi ko pala ito. Okay, so andito si mean mo, andyan ni si median, and andyan ni si mode. No? So you have the mean, the median, and the mode. I-spell out na lang natin. So andyan si median, andyan ni si mode. Here, no? So next, it says that the normal curve is a bell shape, so bell shape, and symmetric in sa about the mean natin. So the total area under the curve natin is equal to 1. So the area is equal to 1. Next, um then ito, no, it never touches, no. So the normal curve approaches but never touches the x-axis and extends farther and farther. Now between here at this point, mu minus the sigma and mu plus sigma, from this point to this point, it must be curved downward. So pa-curve downward siya. Okay? It curves downward. The graph curves upward to the left of mu plus sigma. So it curves upward. So from here, from left, no, from here, it curves upward. And also to the right of mu plus the sigma, it curves upward. No? So curves downward, curves upward. And the point there, kung saan sila mag-change, no, from curving downward to curving up, is what we call the inflection point. So this inflection point. So ang inflection point natin, nakahanap natin si inflection point, it's mu plus the sigma or mu minus the sigma. Diyan nakikita si inflection point natin. Okay, once na nag-plus ka ng sigma, automatically sa mu mo, sa mean mo, automatically it's an inflection point. And on the other side of the normal curve, it's also an inflection point. So the mode is equal to the mean. So ito na yung sinabi natin. So the area, pag f of x dx, automatically that's the area. The area under the curve is equal to 1. The mu, no, is equal to this equation. The sigma squared, or the variance, is equal to this equation. And if you get the probability distribution from x1, when x is greater than x1, x is less than 1, so it actually the area under the curve of the shaded region. So if x is a continuous random variable having a normal distribution with mean mu and the standard deviation sigma, you can graph a normal curve with the equation. So ito yung graph ng normal equation natin. Now we say that if x and y natin yan, ginawa natin siyang x and y. This is the x and this is the y. Therefore, the equation is 1 over the sigma square root of 2 pi e raised to negative 1 half times the quantity, the value of x, no, x variable x times minus mu sigma squared. So, yan yung area ng curve natin. So, with pi is equal to 3.14, E, the Euler number, 2.718. So, means and standard deviation, the normal distribution can have any mean and any positive standard deviation. So, for example, here, you have a mean of 3.5. Bakit 3.5 si mean natin automatically? The mean is the center no of the or the point of the symmetry or the line of symmetry. So kung may bell-shaped curve tayo, yung sa gitna, yun si mean natin. No, yun si mu natin. So for example here, ang gitna natin is 3.5. And the standard deviation is 1.3. Bakit natin nasabi na standard deviation natin is 1.3? Hanapin natin si point of inflection niya kung saan nag-shift from going downward, curve downward to curve upward. So somewhere here, nag-shift siya somewhere here. So that's the distance between the mean and the inflection point is automatically the standard deviation. No, the distance here from here to here is a sigma. So for example here, the mean is 6, the standard deviation is 1.9. So somewhere dito yung inflection point natin. No, dito tama yung inflection point natin. So automatically, inflection point, mag-add ka lang ng standard deviation. So tama. So example lang natin, which curve has a greater mean? Which curve has a greater mean? Automatically, mean kung sino may pinakamalaking means. No? So, the mean of A is around 5. The mean of B is around 9. So, ibig sabihin, the curve B has a greater mean. Which curve has a greater standard deviation? Sino mas malaking standard deviation? Note na ito is payat siya, no? So like we can assume here that the distance from the inflection point to the mean is mga siguro na less than 1, no? Here from this inflection point dito yung mean natin more than 1, no? So automatically B has the greater standard deviation kasi mas mataas yung value or mas scattered. Automatically, yung standard deviation is a measure of variability. From the prelim natin, when we say measure of variability, the variance, standard deviation, the deviation lang natin, is a measure of variability. And the measure of variability will tell you how scattered your data. So tingin nyo, sino mas scattered? Si A or si B? Mas scattered yung data natin, automatically si B, no? Since parang malapad siya. So, the more na mas malapad yung curve mo, the more na scattered ka, the more na mas mataas yung standard deviation mo. Yung mean lang natin will really depend on the x-axis, no? Yung position ng symmetry mo, point of symmetry or line of symmetry mo along x-axis. So, ayun. B is more spread, no? So, B has a greater standard deviation. So, how do you interpret graphs? The height, for example, the height of a fully grown magnolia bushes are normally distributed. No? So yung height ng mga flower na magnolia is normally distributed. So pag sinabi natin automatically sa mga problems, when you say normally distributed, okay, alam mo na kung saan hahanapin si mean. Alam mo na saan hahanapin si standard deviation. The curve represents the distribution. So this is the curve. What is the mean height of a fully grown magnolia bush? And estimate the standard deviation. Automatically, the mean is the point of the symmetry or the line of the symmetry is where the line of symmetry is. So automatically, the mean is equal to 8 and you find the inflection. The inflection points are one standard deviation away from the mean. So this is the inflection point. This is the curve down and both from left to right, ito is curve up, here is curve up. So the distance from the mean to the inflection point is one standard deviation, which is 0.7 according to this distance, and yun yung standard deviation natin. So the heights of a magnolia bushes are normally distributed with a mean of 8 feet and a standard deviation of 0.7 feet. So the normal distribution is a normal distribution with a mean 0 and a standard deviation of 1. Ngayon, di ba napag-usapan na natin si normal distribution na whatever in between is the mean, and then the inflection point is located one standard deviation away. Pag nilagay natin siya sa standard normal distribution, again, magkaiba si normal distribution. Okay, magkaiba si normal distribution sa standard normal distribution. No, magkaiba sila. Pag sinabi nating standard normal distribution, it's same pa rin, same sila ng itsura ni normal distribution, pero yung mean niya is equal to zero. Here, your mean mu, you have a value of mean, no? You have a value of mean and you have a standard deviation. Sa standard normal distribution, automatically your mean is equal to zero and a standard deviation is equal to 1. So automatically, parang gi-translate mo. So there is a translation happening here. No? Yung normal distribution natin, i-translate natin siya into a standard normal distribution where the mean natin, gagawin natin siyang 0 sa x-axis and the standard deviation 1 is a 1 standard away from the inflection point, no, dun sa mean natin. So the horizontal scale now corresponds to the z-score. So ito yung z-score natin, the negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. No? So this is the standard normal distribution natin. No? And z now, the z-score natin is the value, no, of that random variable x, no, that this is big letter x minus mu over the standard deviation, just like how we do the z-score nung tailin natin. So from normal distribution na x, gagawin natin siyang z using ganito na equation natin. So each data value of a normally distributed random variable x is transformed into z-score. So this random variable is transformed into a z-score. Then the result will be a standard normal distribution. So the area that falls in the interval under the non-standard normal curve, yung ginawa natin kanina dito, is the same as the area of the normal standard curve. So same lang sila ng area. It's just equal to 1 lang, the area under the curve. After the formula is used to transform x values into z-scores, the standard normal table in Appendix B is used to find the cumulative area under the curve. So, once na transform na natin siya, nakikita natin siya sa Appendix B. So, if we look, nandito ba yan? Let's see. This is the area under the curve of a normal, ito. So, ito yung posons natin ito. So this is the graph or this is the table na titingnan natin. Table 8.3 dun sa binigay ko sa inyo. It's the area under the normal curve. So we have a normal curve and then you have a z-score dun sa x-axis mo and then you have the area here. No? So you have negative values of z papuntang 0 and then you have the positive value here. Tapos meron kang decimal points here. For example, this is 3.400. So this is 0.003 yung value niya ng area. For example, kukunin natin ang area ng negative 3.15. So negative 3.1, titingin ka sa 0.05. So this is 0.008, no? Negative 3.15. For example, what is the area under the curve of a score 1.12? So punta ka sa 1.1 and then punta ka sa 0.2. 1.1, 0.2, then you have 0.8686. Naintindihan ba yon? Um, do you have your table with you? May hawak-hawak ba kayong table ngayon? Taka lang ha. Okay, so ayun, so let's continue, no? So yun, kailangan lang natin siyang hanapin sa table natin, yung binigay ko na table. Kindly open na lang it kasi mamaya meron tayong mga problems na i-solve. So standard normal distribution, no, always ita-transform lang natin siya si x, whatever the random variable x, into z. No, so ang normal distribution natin, meron tayong mean na nakukuha based sa x-axis and the standard deviation natin based sa inflection point. Pero pag z na tayo, pag standard normal distribution na tayo, automatically the mu is equal to 0 and the variance is equal to 1. No, so this is usually the common notation na ginagawa natin, no. The f of x, or the probability density function f, no, of x. Now we have the mu and the sigma, no, where the probability of function or density x greater than x1 less than x2 has an equation that will look like this. So this is an area under the curve from x1 to x2. So properties of a standard normal distribution: the cumulative area is close to zero for scores close to z is equal to negative 3.49. So you have close to zero yung area natin. So pareha lang din dun sa normal distribution natin. Let's just say na here we have close to zero siya when z is equal to negative 3.49 and z is equal to 3. Dito na tayo sa negative. The cumulative area, ibig sabihin ng cumulative area natin, the cumulative, parang the additive area. So, at first, ang area natin dito sa z is equal to negative 3.49, this is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3.49 is close to 0. Automatically close to 0 kasi wala ka pa namang curve na generate dyan, area. Ngayon, the cumulative area increases as the z-score increase. So, yung cumulative area natin, yung graph natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng curve here, and then, as it increases, yung area natin under the curve nag-increase. From 0, nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng value ng area mo under the curve. As you proceed to z, as z-score increases. Now, the cumulative area of z for z is equal to 0 is 0.5. So, ang area natin dito pala is 0.5. And the cumulative area close to 1 is close to 1 for z score, z is equal to 3.49. So, para mas maintindihan natin, magsusulat tayo. So, ang sinabi dito, yung if you have here, ang area natin dito is automatically close to 0. And then, nag nagkakaroon tayo ng curve, no? So whatever sa curve natin at here, the area, cumulative area at z is equal to 0 is 0.5. So the area is 0.5 kasi half siya ng curve mo. And then, kung papunta ka, kung sa z is equal to 3.49, another 0.5. So 0.5 plus 0.5 is equal to 1. Okay, so kung papunta ka ng positive na z, tumataas ngayon yung area mo. Kung papunta ka ng z na negative, lumiliit yung area mo. No? Always look where the z increases. Okay? So, for example, find the cumulative area that corresponds to a z-score of 2.71. So, hahanapin mo ngayon si 2.71 somewhere here. No? Ngayon, ano yung area niya? So, you can use the table. Using the appendix natin, Ano yun? Yeah, here. We have to find, this is 2.71. So, punta ka sa area, this table 8.3. Sorry, magkaiba to dito sa appendix natin kasi ibang reference to. Anyway, punta kayo sa 8.3 na table niya, 2.71. So, 2.7.0.71. 2.71, that's 0.996 ito na value. No, it's because of 0.01 here. So, ayun, 2.71, 0.996, ayun. So, the cumulative area is 0.9966. So, close to 1 talaga siya. Kung titingnan natin here, close to 1 na siya. Find the cumulative area that corresponds to negative 25. Negative 0.25. So, negative 0.2 and then 2.25. 2.2. Negative 2 point, then 5. So, somewhere here. Ano? 0.0122. Ay, no. Negative. Ay, hindi pala 2 copin. 0.225 pala. Sorry. So, that z is equal to 0.2. Here pala. Sorry. Negative 0.2, then 5. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 0.4013. Okay. So, ganun lang tayo maghanap ng area under the curve. So, guidelines finding na area, sketch the standard normal curve. So, dapat always mag-sketch tayo ng standard normal curve and shade the appropriate area under the curve. Okay. So, pwede tayo kung magsosolve kayo, magsulat lang kayo ng magsusulat lang kayo ng parang curve ninyo, tapos isi-shade lang ninyo yung area na hinahanap natin. Number 2, find the area by following the direction for each case shown. To find the area to the left of Z, find the area that corresponds to Z in the standard normal table. No? So always, lahat ng area na to is from the left. From the left to that point. No? So ito mismo sinabi niya, yung area na nakikita natin dito is from left up to that point, up to any Z point. So here, the area left of Z is equal to 1.23 is this area is 0.8907. So you will use the table now. So to find the area to the right, so yung area to the right natin, automatically, for example, if you want to find the area to the right of 1.23, then we assume the whole area to be 1. No? So what you're gonna do is you subtract the whole area na green doon sa 1 mo to get the area na black. Now, it's 1 minus 0.8907 if that is the area of the green. And then the area of the black is 0.1093. So, you subtract the area from 1. So, to find the area between two z-scores, so for example, we have to find this area nitong black na to. So, ang kailangan lang natin, makuha natin si area ng green ng negative 0.7 and the area of z is equal to 1.23. No, para makuha natin to dito, the area of z is equal to 1.23 minus the area of the z is equal to negative 0.7. So that's 0.8907 minus 0.2266. So kunin mo lang yung mga area niya sa table and then i-minus mo lang. So that's the area of the shaded region na black. So this is a self explainable naman, or madali siyang maintindihan naman ito na part. So find the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z is equal to negative 2.33. Can someone answer this for me? I will give points for this. Negative 2.33. What's the area? Sino yun? Sino yung sumagot? Okay, Cherubim. Ang sagot mo is negative is
0.0099.
0.99. So negative 0.233. Okay, so you're right. No, 0.0099. Okay, so ang gagawin nyo, pag magsusulat kayo, for example, meron kayong problem that will look like that. No? Example, ang pinakauna ninyo, i-sketch nyo siya. No? Mag-sketch kayo. So, find the area under the standard normal curve to the left of z is equal to negative 2.33. So, gagawin nyo, magsusulat kayo ng curve ninyo. And then, you assume na ang sa gitna is 0. So, this is 0. So, hanapin nyo si negative 2. So, this is negative 2.33. Then, isi-shade ninyo. Ganun lang. And then, the area now is equal to 0.0099. So, find the area under the standard normal curve to the right of z is equal to 0.94. So, this is another example. So, to the right daw. So, gagawin natin, gagawa tayo ng standard normal curve, and then this is 0, and then this is 0.94. Automatically ha, yung pinakadulo is 3.49. So, somewhere here pala si 0.94. Then to the right. So, itong to the right. Okay, so ibig sabihin, the area is equal to 1 minus the value of 0.94. And that value of 0.94 is equal to, from the table is, always draw the curve up, is 0.8264. So, that is 0.1736. Always draw the curve para madali natin siyang maintindihan. So, always yung pinapakita sa table natin here is left, no? From the left. So find the area between the standard normal curve find the area under the standard normal curve between z is equal to negative 1.98 and z is equal to 1.07. So again, gagawin natin always magdo-draw tayo, and then this is 0, and then this is negative 1.98, this is 1.07, and then you shade. So, gagawin natin, kukunin natin to. So, the area is equal to the value dito sa z natin, which is 0.2, ang area nito is 0.8577, which is the area from here minus the area here, which is equal to 0.8338. So, ang value ng area na to is 0.8338. Okay, so this is the area of the z is equal to 1.07. This is the area of z is equal to negative 1.98. So normal distributions finding probability. So now we will apply it into some of the examples. If a random variable x is normally distributed, you can find the probability that x will fall in a given interval by calculating the area under the normal curve for that interval. So yung probability pala is under the curve, the area under the curve. And automatically, we're always talking about an interval. No? Hindi tayo pwedeng magkaroon ng what is the probability of that exact um, um, value of random variable. Always interval tayo. For example, here, what is the probability x less than 15? So, x less than 15 is an interval. So, hanapin mo ngayon yung sa standard mo. Ito transform mo si mean into z-score. So, if you have a mean of 10, and a standard deviation of 5, kailangan i-transport mo muna siya sa z para bago mo mahanap. No? So for example, this is the normal distribution niya. We have mean is equal to 10 and a standard deviation of 5. So ang 5 ito na distance. So automatically 15. 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. Now, kung ita-translate mo siya sa standard deviation, whatever the mean must be 0 and the standard deviation natin is 1. So you have to find the PZ less than 1. From P, probability of X less than 15, gagawin natin siyang probability Z less than 1. So you have to find now using the table. So automatically, nag-assume lang tayo na same area lang tong shaded region natin. So the probability of X less than 15 is equal to the probability of Z less than 1 is the shaded area under the curve, which is equal to 0.8413 according to the table natin. Parang hindi, ito, sorry, I think nasira lang konti yung table ko. Anyway, isusulat ko na lang siya. So find the, so this is another example. An average on a statistic test was 78. So, ang average niya is 78 with a standard deviation of 8. So, automatically the mu is 78 and the standard deviation is equal to 8. If the test scores are normally distributed, find the probability that a student receives a test score greater than 85. So, find the probability where the x, no, the random variable x is greater than 85. So for example, sa isang klase daw, ang average ng mga scores is 78 lang. Ang scattered niya or ang standard deviation niya is 8. Ilan yung probability ng students na maka-receive ng greater than 85? Now, so automatically, we have to get the z for this. So z is equal to the the x, na big letter x minus the mu over the sigma. So we have 85 minus 78 over the 8. This is equal to 0.88. Now that's your z. So ang hinahanap natin ngayon is if px greater than z, that is just equal to pz greater than 0.88. So you have to find pz greater than 0.88, which is the area doon sa left ng z is equal to 0.88 natin. So, magdodraw ka ng curve dyan. Yan. And then, hanapin mo si 0.8, automatically this is 0. So, dito si 0.88. And then, ang hinahanap mo is to z greater than. So, here. No, so, automatically, the p z greater than 0.88 is equal to 1 minus the area sa left natin. No? The probability of the z less than 0.88. So, according sa table natin, that's equal to 0.8106, which is equal to 0.1894. So, ang probability na greater than 85 yung scores ng bata is 0.2 lang. So, parang ano ba? Let's just say na 1/5 ng klase, 85 pataas ang score. Okay, it's because 20%. So 20% ng whole class has a 85% na score. So kung ang kung ang pasado lang, for example, ang and for example, ang average, no, na sabi ni sir na okay, ang makakapasa lang is 60% ang score, no. if ang mean is 78, so for example, 60% lang ang pwedeng pumasa sa exam. So, P X is equal to 60, is greater than 60. So, kung sinong makakakuha ng mga greater than 60, makakapasa lang. So, ang gagawin mo, magzi ka, which is 60 minus 78 over the mu. So, ibig sabihin, 60 minus 78, where's my calculator? Just wait. So, kung 60 lang, titingnan natin, no? We have 2 point, negative 2.25. So, you have to find out the P where Z is greater than negative 2.25 kasi yun lang yung mga papasa ng mga student. So, gagawa ka ngayon ng normal curve, ipapakita mo, this is 0, negative 2.25, mga somewhere here. And then, yung lahat ng papasa, so ibig sabihin, greater than, so you shade the area here, which is equal to the P Z greater than negative 2.25, no, is equal to 1 minus the P Z less than negative 2.25, no? So that's 1 minus, so hanapin ngayon natin sa table si 2.25, negative 2.25. So negative 2.2, negative 2.2, negative 2.25, somewhere here. So that's 0.0122. 0.0122. So that's 0.0122. So therefore, the probability na makakapasa kayong lahat, for example, ang mean ng score is 78 is 1 minus 0.0122, which is equal to 90, 0.988. So, ibig sabihin, 98% ng klase makapasa. So, halos lahat nakakapasa. No? Pag 78 yung mean natin. What if ang mean natin is mababa yung mean natin? Like, ang mean lang natin is nasa mga 40 lang. Karamihan ng scores is nasa 40 lang. And then 60 yung pasado natin. What do you think? Is it greater than 50% or less than 50%? No? So, by just thinking about it, inisip natin na kung ang mean natin is nasa 40 lang yung score, tapos hanapin natin na dapat ang makapasa lang is 60 points o 60%, automatically hindi. Hindi kayo lalapas ng 50% sa klase ang makakapasa. Okay, so probability and normal distribution. Another is the average on a statistic test was 78 and a standard deviation of 8. If the test scores are normally distributed, find the probability that the student receives a test scores between 8 between 60 to 80. So ibig sabihin between 60 to 80, you translate it into the standard normal um, distribution natin, and then pag napunta natin sa Z, hahanapin natin ngayon si value ng Z less than 0.25 and Z less than negative 2.25. Then, i-minus natin, then we have 0.5865. That's the area under the curve. Okay, so ito na, I think naintindihan na to. The probability can never be zero. Okay? So, once na na-interchange nyo to, balikan nyo lang. No? Or once nakakuha kayo ng negative number, balikan nyo na lang. Dapat hindi pa rin may negative si probability. And then hindi pwedeng lumampas ng 1, no? Because the total area under the curve is equal to 1 man. So normal distributions, finding values. So ito parang binaliktad lang. No, so for example, find the z-score that corresponds to a cumulative area of 0.9973. So automatically, nahanap natin si 0.9973. So it's the z-score is 2.78. So find the z-score that correspond to cumulative area of 0.4170. So ito parang pabaliktad lang. So if you have 4.170, use the closest area natin, which is 4.168 lang natin. So find the z-score by locating 0.417 in the body of the standard normal table and then interpolate the value between z-scores. So the z-score is 0.209, no? So this is actually a parang very exact way. So ang exact way kasi natin dito, if hinahanap natin si 0.4170, it lies between 0.4168 and 17 and 0.41 here, 0.4562. Si 0.4170, nasa gitna siya ni 0.4168 and 0.4562 in between. Now, pwede tayo mag-interpolate. So, by interpolating, hahanapin mo ang value ng z when 0.4170. So, I'm assuming lahat kayo marunong mag-interpolate at this time. So, pag nag-interpolate kayo, automatically makakakuha tayo ng value sa calculator na z-score is equal to negative 0.209, no? And that is the z-score. So how do you interpolate ba sa calculator? So ito pahapyaw lang to ha. So marunong ba lahat mag-interpolate sa calculator? Sino marunong mag-interpolate? Ah? Hindi pa? Sige, tuturuan ko kayo. Grab your calculator. As much as possible yung calculator natin dapat ganito. The or better, this is FX570ES or something yung may stat. Yung ito na calculator. Okay, sige. So mag-interpolate tayo. How to interpolate dun sa pa natin. So first is punta kayo sa shift stat. Wait lang pala. I-on ko muna. So punta ka muna sa mode. So first is mode. Pagpunta mo ng mode, punta ka ng stat which is number 3. So mode, then punta ka ng 3 which is yun yung stat. So 3 and then punta ka ngayon sa mode stat 3, punta ka sa 2 which is A plus BX. Now B is your slope, A is your y-intercept. No, ganun tayo, no? So gagawin natin siyang linear, magli-linear interpolation tayo. And then yun, ipipress natin si 2. So, automatically, lalabas si parang graph natin na 1, 2, 3, this is in X, and this is in Y. Nakikita nyo ba sa calculator nyo? Are you using your calculator now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, lalabas to. So, si X natin, yun yung may given tayo. Ang given natin is yung dalawang 0. So, ilagay nyo, this is 0.4168 and 0.4562. So, sa first is 0.4168 and then enter or equal 0.4562 then equal. So naka-enter na ako. Bakit ko nilagay dito sa X? Kasi dito natin hahanapin or ito yung may given na 0.4170, no? So you given 0.4168 and 0.4562, let's interpolate what's in between kasi si 0.4170 in between siya eh. So ibig sabihin independent variable si uh, area mo. Nasa y natin is si z-score. Ang z-score nito is negative 0.2 0.21 and 0.5 is negative 0.11. Oh, negative 0.1 and 1, so 0.11. And then we find now the value of y. No? We find the value of y when the x is 0.4170. So input ko na naman sa y, pwede nyo i-control using the cursor. This is negative 0.21 and then negative 0.11. And then, so na-input na natin lahat. So ang step number 3 is punta kayo sa AC. So i-AC ninyo. And then number 4 is shift 1. So click shift 1, which is yung 1 kasi natin, meron siyang stat na nakasulat sa taas, di ba? Shift 1. So punta kayo ba sa regression, 5 reg. Yung regression na yan, i-click nyo si 5 and then punta kayo sa yung hinahanap natin is si y, no? So punta kayo kay 5y hat. So click nyo si 5y hat and then number 5 is i-enter nyo na si 0.4170 y hat. So yung y hat natin, lalagyan mo lang sa harapan ng 0.417 and then equals. Then automatically, maglalabas ngayon na negative 0.2095. So that's the exact z-score niya, 0.2095. Okay? So ganun tayo mag-interpolate. I hope na-follow nyo. You can just review the video. So finding a z-score given a percentile. So automatically si percentile, 'di ba, is what if i-rank mo si whole data mo and then 75%. So percentile P75, ibig sabihin the area is 0.75. So the z-score that corresponds to percentile P75 is the same z-score that corresponds to the area 0.75. So hanapin mo yung si area natin doon sa standard table natin is 0.75. So napansin natin from 0 pataas siya, no? Pataas going diagonal. So 0.75, 0.0751, 0.75 somewhere here, no? 0.7486 and 0.7517. Ibig sabihin, nasa 0.67 and 0.68. So, another example here. So, z-score for P75. So, P75, automatically the area is equal to 0.75. Ibig sabihin, gito is 75%, no, of all the data. Yun yung sinabi natin percentile ng 75. So pag sinabi natin quartile 1, so hatiin natin yung whole data sa apat, then 1, so that's 25%. Quartile 2 is 50%, quartile 3 is equal to 75%. Pag decile 1 naman, pag decile hati natin si whole natin na data by 10. So decile 1 is equal to 10%, decile 2 is 20%, and so on and so forth. Pag percentile naman natin, hati natin si whole data into 100 parts. So percentile 1 is 1%, percentile 5 is 5%, percentile 75 is 75%. Okay, so area is 0.75. If that's the case sa percentage 75, so you have to find the area. So, yung 0.75, it lies between the P, this is less than 0.67. Px less than 0.67 and Px less than 0.68. Tama ba? 67, 68. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, automatically, kukunin natin si um, um, what is the z natin, bakit x? This is supposedly z. Um, yeah, lilinisan ko lang. This is z and this is z. Now, ibig sabihin, doon sa pag interpolate natin, kung makapunta na tayo sa graph natin, we have to find 75%, no? So, this is 1, 2, 3, pag sa calculate natin x. So, ang x natin, siya yung may given. Sino yung may given natin? 75. And that 75 is the area. So, ang area natin at first is 0.7486. Ang isang area natin is 0.7517. So, we have to find yung area natin, 0.75. What's in between? So, ibig sabihin, gagawin natin siyang x. Ang sa y natin is the z-score. So, ang z-score is 0.67 and 0.68. And you have to find the y. So, pag nag-input kayo sa calculator ninyo, ang pinaka-last is the 0.75 y hat. Pag sa reg na kayo, pag napunta na kayo sa regression, yung y hat ang i-click nyo, so 0.75 y hat, which is equal to 0.675. So, ang between niyan is 0.675. So, ganun tayo mag-interpolate. So, transforming a z-score to an x-score. So, nakakuha tayo ng z-score. May z-score tayo, may mu tayo, meron tayong mean. Kukuha tayo ng value ng x natin, i-manipulate na lang natin. No? So, this is x lang. From um, from our general equation na z is equal to x minus the sigma over, x minus the mean over the sigma. So, then x now is equal to mean plus the sigma times the z. No? So, ganun lang. For example, a monthly electric bill in a city are normally distributed. So, automatically sa mga problem, may mga sinabi naman kung anong klaseng distribution. No? With a mean of 120. So, may mean ka na. And standard deviation is $16. Find x value corresponding to the z-score of 1.6. So, plug in lang yung values natin. Therefore, we can conclude that the electric bill is 1.46, 45.6, which is 1.6 standard deviation above the mean. So, madali lang to. Here, the weights of bags of chips for a vending machine are normally distributed with a mean of 1.25 ounce and a standard deviation of 0.1 ounce. Now, bags that have weights in the lower 8%. So, yung lower 8%, ibig sabihin 8%, less than 8% dun sa z-score mo, no, are too light and will not work in the machine. No? So, 8% ng whole bags mo will not work in the machine. So, what is the least a bag of chips can weigh and still work in the machine? So, ang hanapin natin is what's greater than 8%. If 8%, if less than 8% will not work, therefore, greater than 8% will work. No? So, here we have the z at 0.08 na shaded area and that z is negative 1.41. So, what is the least bag of chips can weigh and still work in the machine? So, the least, ibig sabihin the least is the lower portion natin dito. So, z less than -1.1, -1.41, which is 0.08, yun yung value niya na shaded area. And then the mean is 1.25, the standard deviation is -1.41, the z is equal to 0.1. The mean, dapat ang standard deviation dito is 0.1 pala. And ang z niya is -1.41. So, the x is 1.11. So, the least a bag can weigh and still work in the machine is 1.11. So, pagkatapos ng normal distribution, punta tayo sa gamma distribution. No? Punta tayo sa gamma distribution. So, sa gamma distribution naman, instead of meron kang bell-shaped curve, meron kang ganito na klase na curve. Parang skewed. Either skewed to the, either para siyang mayroong spike and then it goes down, or pwede kang skewed to the right. No? Depends on the value of the sigma and beta. So, yung gamma function natin, that tau A, the capital letter tau of the alpha, that's the gamma function natin. Usually ginagamit siya sa higher na mga mathematical functions natin. No? So it's the summation of the not the summation pala, the integral of the x raised to alpha minus 1 times e to the negative x dx from 0 to alpha. So parang area under the curve pa rin siya where alpha is equal to 0. So alpha is greater than 0 pala. So integrating by parts, we now say that the tau a or the gamma function a is equal to the alpha minus 1 times the tau alpha minus 1. No. Alpha minus 1 times the tau of alpha minus 1. So, tau function is defined as a recursive function. Ibig sabihin, pabalik-balik siya na function. It's because of the negative here. So, when alpha is equal to n, we can rewrite that the tau of n is equal to n minus 1 times n minus 2 and so on and so forth. So, ibig sabihin, factorial siya. No, we say that the tau of n is equal to n minus 1 factorial. Ano? And tau of 1 is equal to 1. The 1 factorial is equal to 1. I know, the 0 factorial pala kasi tau n is equal to n minus 1 factorial. So when n is equal to 1, that's 1 minus 1 factorial. So 0 factorial which is equal to 1. And then this is very unique property lang ni tau, no? When tau is equal to 1 half, ibig sabihin, this is 1 half minus 1 is negative 1 half factorial. That's equal to square root of pi. This is just an important property. So ito lang yung distribution natin, no? So the gamma distribution, the continuous random variable x has a gamma distribution with parameters alpha and beta. So ito kailangan lang natin ma-determine si alpha and beta natin sa gamma distribution natin. So kukuha tayo ng area by integrating this function dx. No? Ganun tayo magkuha ng area. I-multiply lang natin si f of x kay dx. So this is f of x, then dx, makakuha tayo ng area. So, ang f of x kasi natin is the y. And to get the area, y times the x or dx. So, ito yung mga itsura ng mga graph niya. For example, if our sigma is equal to 1 and beta is equal to 1, we have a spike that will look like this. And if we have sigma is equal to 2, sigma ba dapat or alpha? Let me double check. This is random variable, continuous expected value. Um, this is gamma. Hindi naman siya pinakita dito. Let me see. Tingnan natin dun sa equation natin sa some continuous probability distribution, and then we will look for the gamma. So I'm looking sa Walpole natin na reference, no, main reference natin. Okay, gamma and exponential. So the gamma function same. Okay. So it's not alpha, it's alpha. So tama yung intuition ko. Sorry. So this is the equation of the gamma distribution, 1 over the beta raised to alpha times the tau function, no? Or the gamma function tau of alpha is times the x raised to alpha minus 1 e to the x divided by b. So ito yung equation natin. So papalitan ko na lang. Okay, so that's it. So if we have an alpha is equal to 1 and the beta is equal to 1, so this whole equation will be 0, alpha minus 1 will be 0. No? So magkakaroon ka lang ng e to the negative x over b. So that's an exponential function na panaog. No, e to the negative number is will look like a decreasing na trend. Now, when alpha is equal to 2, beta is equal to 1, so you will have an equation that will look like this, no? Magkakaroon ka ng rise and then a slow down, no? So, para siyang tapered and skewed to the right. So, when alpha is equal to 4, when you increase the alpha, you are parang nagkakaroon ka ng slow motion here or parang slow ramping. So this is a fast ramping here and this is a slow ramping going up and then slow ramping going down. So ito yung area, itsura ng mga area ng curve ng gamma function. So suppose that the telephone calls arrive at a particular switchboard follows a Poisson's process with an average of 5 calls per minute. What is the probability that up to a minute will elapse by the time two calls have come to a switchboard? So ito. So suppose that a telephone calls arriving at a particular switchboard follows a Poisson's process with an average of 5 calls coming per minute. So ibig sabihin, yung telephone natin, 5 calls yung average na papasok in a minute. Yung average niya. Pero it follows a Poisson's. So probably at a longer na variable or random variable natin na x is hindi na siya 5, no? So hindi siya normally distributed yung data natin. So what is the probability that up to a 1 minute, so instead of 5 calls coming per minute, no? What is the probability that up to a minute will elapse by the time 2 calls? So 2 calls na ngayon, x mo is equal to 2, no? Have come into the switchboard. So the Poisson's process applies with the time until 2 Poissons. So kasi yung average kasi natin is 5. So that's the mu is 5 and you have 2 as an x. No, then beta is equal to 1/5, no, with beta is equal to 1/5 and alpha is equal to 2. Saan yung beta natin? Okay, so beta is equal to 1 over the n or 1 over the mu. So, dapat natin yun ilagay here that beta is 1 over mu. Magsusulat na lang ako. So, example sa gamma distribution, so you have the mu is equal to 5 calls per minute, and then what is the probability that you have an x which is 2 calls per minute? No, so what's the probability of up to? So, ibig sabihin, up to, so up to 2, so x less than or equal to 2 or less than equal to 2. No? Up to. So, ibig sabihin, 2 is the maximum. So, x must be less than or equal to 2. So, find the probability of that. No? So, the mu here is just equal to alpha sa posons natin, which is 5, and beta is equal to 1 over alpha, which is 1 over 5. Now, if we go back here, we say that we denote x as a time in minutes that transpires before 2 calls home. So the required probability is given by px is less than or equal to 1. Bakit naging 1 to siya? And, okay, so up to 2 calls, wait lang, up to a minute will elapse by the time 2 calls have come to the switchboard. So 5 calls per minute. So we denote x, the time in minutes pala. So we denote x as time in minutes. So the time in minutes here is equal to 1. Kasi 1 minute lang tayo. So, bakit hindi siya na-erase? So, yung 2 natin will be the, ano ba yung 2 natin dito? Will be the alpha. This will be the alpha. The mu is 5. So, beta natin is 1 over the mu. I-edit ko lang to. This is 1 over the mu, which is 1/5. Sorry, nalito lang ako. Ah, so yun pa rin same mu natin, the average pa natin is 5. So the alpha natin is, kumaga yun yung x natin, no? Kung ilan yung pasi natin. And then you have your alpha is equal to 2. X is the denoted as the time in minutes that transpires before 2 calls home. So x must be less than 1. So hanapin natin yun siya by the equation natin na gamma distribution. So yung gamma distribution natin na equation will look like this, no. So um tau alpha 1, so this is 1 factorials which is equal to 1 pa rin. So this tau of 2 is equal to 1. So matitira na lang natin dito will be the f. So isulat natin. This is 1, 2, this is 1/5. which is 1 over the beta 2. This is tau 1. So tau 1 at tau 2. Ah, sorry. So we have tau of 2 is equal to n minus 1 factorial, which is 2 minus 1 factorial, which is 1 factorial, which is equal to 1. So 1 pa rin siya. X raised to alpha. So alpha natin is 2 minus 1, which is 1. E to the negative x is equal to 1 over 1/5. No, so kukuha tayo ng area under that. No, it must be the probability of x less than 1. Kukunin natin si area under the curve. So area under the curve is 0 to 1. Tapos 1 over beta squared times x times e to the negative 5. May x pa ba? Okay. And beta natin is 1 over 5 pa rin. E to the negative 5x. Okay. This is x. This is x. Okay. Small letter x pala. So, kukuha tayo from 0 to 1. Then therefore, pag nag-evaluate tayo, beta is equal to 1 over 5. Ah. Pag nag-evaluate tayo niyan, we will now have um, the equation 1 minus e to the negative 5 times 1 plus 5. Recheck na lang ito. So that's px less than 1 or equal less than or equal to 1 is equal to 0.96. So the probability of having 2 calls a minute is equal to 0.96. Exponential, okay. So I think i-run through ko lang to, bibilisan ko na lang. Pag exponential naman tayo, meron tayong function na 1 all over b e to the negative x all over b. So the mean and variance will look like this. And the mean and variance of the gamma distribution is equal to mu is equal to alpha beta, and the variance is alpha beta squared. The mean and variance of exponential distribution is mu is equal to beta, and variance is equal to beta squared. So this is just an example. So meron tayong chi-squared din. Usually si chi-squared natin is sa statistical inference natin siya makikita, which is on the next na mga lessons natin. So yung chi-squared distribution lang natin, meron tayong equation ng this probability density function that will look like this. So para makuha natin ang area under the curve, you evaluate this whole term with dx evaluated from 0 to 1. No? Gaya ng example natin. So, ito yung tsura ng log normal. Then, pag log normal naman tayo, it will look like this formula, yung f of x. Automatically, the probability is f of x dx, evaluated 0 to 1. And then, wheel ball distribution, it will look like this equation. Okay, so, ayun. So, those were the different continuous probability distributions. Do you have any question?